Unless you've seen it before, I apologize. Mahomes, down 17-10, start of the fourth quarter, injures his ankle or foot area. Looked like we might go on without good time, Patty Mahomes. Comes on a touchdown play to make it 17-17, goes into the blue tent, does not miss a play. Next drive. How's 15 plays, 78 yards to D-Hop for the second time on the night to take a 24-17 lead. What a fourth quarter this was. We weren't finished. Other way, Baker Mayfield leading his own 10-play, 70-yard drive punctuated by this play-action pass. Ryan Miller, 24-24, not electing to go for two. Instead, they play for overtime. They lose the toss. They never touch the ball. Stop me if you heard it before, because you ain't stopping Kareem Hunt. He's in for 6, and that's the game-winning score. 30-24, still perfect. Chiefs in overtime, 8-0. A look at your box score. Patrick Mahomes, a lot was made about more interceptions than touchdowns. He doesn't look like himself. How's 34 of 44 on an ankle in the rain for 291, 3 touchdowns, no INT in sight. A winning effort from Mahomes and the Chiefs. Postgame is presented by Old El Paso. Start somewhere fresh. Joe Musso, Emory Hunt, Bryant McFadden. We must start with the decision. And that is the decision to kick it to make it 24-24 and not go for 2. We've seen the movie before in that building, and it plays out the same way. Mac, what do you make of that decision, and what was the right decision to be made by Todd Bowles and that staff on the other sideline?
I didn't like it. I didn't agree with that decision to kick the extra point. I felt like at that time, your offense had the Chiefs defensively on their heels. That was a really, really good, efficient drive to potentially be 1 point down, right? And you look at where you were in that ball game. To your point, when it comes to overtimes, it's a hit or miss situation. When you look at how well your offense was rolling, let's keep going.
Yeah,
let's keep it going. You have to have your offensive coordinator on standby. Listen, when we score, have your best 2-point play ready to go, because we're not going into extra periods against the Chiefs, against Pat Mahomes at home. It was already a difficult back and forth affair when you look at some of the miscues from either side. But when you look at that particular moment, you had all the momentum. The defense is on the heels. And I'm willing to bet when you think about and talk to any defender that was a part of Kansas City, if they had to choose, what would you rather the Bucs do? They all would say, kick the extra point and let's go in the extra period.
Because, Emory, the question becomes in that moment, do you have a better chance to beat them on one play from right there on the doorstep, or do you have a better chance of beating the Kansas City Chiefs, the 2-time defending champions at home in the rain, in a whole nother period, whether you get the ball or not?
And that's the thing. You got to hope for Tampa to get the ball first.
Bingo.
You have no control over that.
Emory, I know sometimes you can present a side that maybe we don't see, but you see this the same.
Well, it's funny because this is 3 straight games that you and I have been on, Joe, 2 Thursdays and a Monday, where it came down to when should you go for 2? When do you not go for 2?
Right there.
This is when you go for 2.
Oh, my goodness.
You touched on it, B-Mac. The offense had the momentum. They were moving the ball consistently with the passing game, the sprint out game, the run game on that last drive. Everything was working for them. Even on the play before the touchdown, they had an opportunity to get the touchdown with the play to Palmer, but they didn't do it. And so now you have everything going your way, and you put the kibosh on it by being a little bit conservative. In the wrong time. It's a wet field. Now it's time to go. They're not going to have their feet planted firmly in the ground. You can run on them. You can do play action. You can sprint out. Baker had some success running the football in this ball game. So you had every chance or opportunity to go for it, every reason to go for it, and you didn't. So now you're just waiting to get the ball back, and we know tomorrow never came.
Again, it was a 10-play, 71-yard drive by the Buccaneers that led to that decision. I'm looking at the play script: 10 yards, 18 yards, 14 yards, 9 yards, 3 yards, 8 yards, 3 yards, 19 yards. Productive play on top of productive play. And then you put it in the Chiefs' lap.
They were standing on eggshells. They had no foundation.
But it was a fantastic fourth quarter from both of these football teams.
Yes, but at that time, during those sequence of plays, you got to keep it rolling.
You force them to then score points with 27 ticks remaining. I think we're all Emory, a final word here on the decision?
The question is, who got conservative? I know the Bucs stopped with the head coach. Is it the OC said, nah, let's just kick the field goal?
Wait a minute.
Or was it the head coach?
I think it's the head coach because he has the final say-so. It's his job to pick the options in those tough situations.
And that conversation has to be had at the 2-minute warning. Hey, fellas, when we score, this is what we're going with. Maybe you don't give the team the play, but we're going for 2. Be prepared for a +1 on the end of this drive.
Get your 2-point play ready to rock and roll, because when we score, you got to speak things into existence. When we score, we're going for 2, coach, so have your 2-point play ready, because we had no time. They had no timeouts, so you could not utilize the clock and say, call timeout, let's see what they know. You got to be ready to rock and roll. These are things that you have to be prepared for.
Are you going to beat the Chiefs that were 12 of 18 on 3rd down in this game? Patrick Mahomes, who throws for 291, 3 and no interception. He orchestrates a 12-play, 70-yard drive to tie it at 17, a 15-play, 78-yard drive to take a 24-17 lead, and then a 10-play, 70-yard drive to ice this thing in the end. Mac, this was the good stuff from Patrick Mahomes. We have not seen this version, and it comes a little bit banged up in this 4th quarter as well. What did you see from the all-world quarterback on this night?
Something about Pat Mahomes where he goes into a whole nother element when he's dealing with an injury, where sometimes when people get nicked up, it kind of slows them down. Mentally, they can't really fight through that adverse, and physically, they're dealing with pain where you don't really see them productive. But when it comes to him, it's like he goes into the flu game mentality.
It takes him deeper into his process.
Oh, now you just unleashed the beast. And here I go. And to your point, this was his best performance this season. 287 yards, 3 touchdowns. You talked about how good they were on 3rd downs. A lot of that was because of what he was doing. Buying time, making people miss, going through his progressions, accurate passes, right? And now what you look at with D-Hop, fully acclimated to this offense, now they have another weapon. So for Pat Mahomes, that's the thing about Pat Mahomes. During the pregame show, I said the Chiefs, they have an element that other teams don't have. They have 2 flashes, great flashes, good flashes. In both cases, they win. Good teams have good flashes, bad flashes. But that's the difference between the cream of the crop in the National Football League and the pack. Even when they have good flashes, those flashes are good enough to win, because tonight it wasn't their best game. They went into overtime, but they had what it took to be able to win, and it starts with the quarterback.
Yeah, a lot of people think the quarterback position is supposed to play and look one way. But what we saw tonight was great quarterbacking from Pat Mahomes. Even a little flip to Samaje Perine. Even how many flips we saw to Travis Kelce, underhand throws, all of those things kind of matter because it adds up. Are you consistently moving the ball down the field? And if you are, that's quarterbacking. And we saw in that last drive and throughout the whole 3rd downs, him just locking. I just have to get this many yards. I don't have to get it all in one play. I just have to get 6, I'm going to get 6. I have to get 5, I'm going to get 5. Find an eligible receiver. And on the defensive side of the ball, you just kind of look at the teams just kind of getting that Mike Tyson mentality where they already beat before they even get out there. And that's half the battle. Oh, we're going against Patrick Mahomes. Now all of a sudden you're pressing. Now you're not staying in alignment and assignment sound, and you give up these big gashes on defense. So Mahomes has complete control of how teams defend him and do all of those things offensively.
And then you feel that air of inevitability. When it gets down to that moment and he's got the ball, layup after layup after layup, hand it to the man, end the game. That's how this one ends, with Kareem Hunt falling into the end zone after the Buccaneers like to tie it and not go for 2. We'll look at Mahomes' 4th quarter.
My goodness.
13-17, a buck 12, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a passer rating of 132.5 on a bum ankle. The best in the world moves his team to 8-0.